Describe in single words only the good things that come into your mind. About your mother?
My mother?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my mother.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric.
And I'm Josh.
We're doing it again for the last time for a little bit, but not forever.
A couple of weeks, yeah.
Okay, let's start here by saying I know where Josh has been this morning, and I know he just got back from something that he's probably super hyped to talk about, and I know that he can't talk about that, and instead he's got to talk about Lawnmower Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel bad for you. This whole morning I've been thinking that's bad.
It really improved. It really improved my mood this morning because, like, I watched Lawnmower Man for the first time. I want to say it was like Tuesday night or something. And apparently, like, I remember I sat down and I had like already made dinner and like had eaten and like watched a TV show or two. And I watched Lawnmower Man Tuesday night and came out of it thinking, okay, this will at least be entertaining to talk about. It's not a great movie. Apparently, I was already pretty fucking drunk by that point, based on my reaction rewatching the film last night.
To kind of add on to that, my spoiler alert, fucking hated every second of watching this movie, but my lovely wife, who had a pretty strong gummy beforehand, seemed to be enjoying herself. So maybe there's something to be said about being inebriated while watching Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, it's... Oh, God.
Let's put it on pause.
Yeah, pause that convo.
Get ready for... it's going to be a fun time. Before that, though, let's talk about other things like how shitty the world is.
Yeah. Well, I saw a fun thing, and I'm going to steal your bit.
Please do.
Worst person you know accidentally makes a really good point.
Yeah, heartbreaking when it happens.
It really is. Trump booed off stage at the Libertarian Convention.
I mean, libertarians, you got to give them one thing. They don't. I guess you don't have to give them anything.
I retract my statement.
They'll boo someone they don't like. I guess
you really don't gotta give them.
Yeah, let's not give them anything. They'll take it their own ways.
Yeah.
But no, that's fun. That's fun. He went up there all cocky, thinking he was. This is an easy layup. Libertarians love me. I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been true in 2016, actually, but it's definitely not true after seeing him as president.
Yeah, I think it probably would have gone well in 16.
Yeah, but he's shown that he's no libertarian.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, not in the good direction.
Yeah,
with the bad direction. Yeah. So good times. Anything else?
I just, to reiterate, so, we didn't forget the ongoing ethnic cleansing. It's bad out there, folks.
Yeah.
Trying to think. British elections are coming up.
Oh yeah, that's kind of important.
On July 4th, which is fun.
Good times for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been just like third hand hearing about it on social media. I've not actually looked into it, but it seems like it's going to be interesting over there.
Yeah, it seems. Slightly bright seeming Rishi Sunak, the current prime minister.
Great man.
The current prime minister of the UK decided to call an election, even though the Conservatives barely scraped out of the local elections pretty recently. So I guess his logic would be, well, if I take care of this now, then maybe I still got a handle on it. But if I let it go...
So he thinks it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, things are going to get worse. With all the... I think the first planes taking migrants to Rwanda are supposed to take off end of June, maybe. So he's thinking it's only going to get worse, I think is the logic to it.
Might be good logic, honestly.
Although, like I said, he is seemingly slightly bright, and that means very little in relation to reality, because seemingly slightly bright is compared to like the last 4 fucking prime ministers who have all been obvious, like either Boris Johnson, complete moron, fucking Liz Truss lost to a goddamn head of lettuce.
Yeah.
It's a bad comparison.
Right. Low bar. Really low bar.
Slightly above room temperature IQ, Rishi Sunak.
Well, I'm excited to see it. The vibes I've been getting have been in the right direction, but vibes are off frequently, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be excited to see if this blows up in their faces. Who can say, though?
British love blowing their own shit up in their faces, so... All right. Nothing major other than that. I'm really bummed for our upcoming presidential election. Because you're going to be getting back, and we're going to be getting back into regular recording when it's really going to start popping off.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
And we're going to have to talk about it at some point, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we are. And
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
If the election was today, I don't know what the fuck I'd do. And I probably won't know until I'm standing in front of it.
Yeah, we had, I think it was maybe Wednesday or Thursday night on the Discord voice chat. We had a quite in-depth conversation about what the fuck we do now.
What we do.
Yeah.
Someone tell us what to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a great, and I don't know, who knows? They're both very old men. That's
what I'm hoping.
Things could change between now and November.
What percentage of Americans do you think is just hoping for one or both of them to die before November? 40?
I would say 40 seems solid.
Yeah.
Or at least 40% of people who are eligible to vote.
Yeah.
Because a huge portion of our population is very young.
Yeah.
So...
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll on into recommendos. I know you got one. I'm going to start though.
Yeah.
It's one that I think you recommended on the show a while back, or at least semi-recommended. But I'm finally pretty deep into Sugar.
Ah, yes.
Colin Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
Some other people.
Amy Ryan.
James Cromwell. I love James Cromwell, dude.
Yeah, Dennis Katsugora, something. Dennis
doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah, Dennis, Greek name.
Anyway, I'm just at the point where it's getting weird, and I don't know. I kind of like it so far. I guess they'll have to see if they stick the landing. I think I've got 2 episodes left. But
okay, so you finished episode 6.
If that's the one that ends super weird, then yes.
Looking in a mirror.
Yeah. I finished that one.
Yeah.
That's where I stopped. And I kind of had vibes like something like that was happening. So
yeah, that's I'll be interested. I haven't been able to talk about that to anybody who has watched the whole thing.
okay,
So I will be interested to hear what you think about it, because
I will
don't know.
text you when I finish it, because
Yeah, but
you can't spoil it. Spoiling it ruins the show, and I don't want to spoil it. So
yeah,
we'll see how I like it. It's weird, but in a good way so far. So yeah, at least maybe preemptive recommendo on that for me. What have you watched recently, Josh?
Well, yesterday, in fact, I watched a movie that Chris recommended on our show a couple of weeks ago called Civil War.
Oh yeah.
It was a good movie. I liked
What point in time would you say the movie Civil War takes place?
Well, okay, it is post Annie prom, pre my birthday, pre your birthday, post American Civil War, part one, post Marvel Comics Civil War, post Marvel Cinematic Universe Civil War, but mid Alex Garland Civil War 2024.
Oh, it does. It's probably this bit makes me laugh more than anybody else out there, probably.
I know.
Once in a while, we gotta toss a bone to the old heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the movie good?
Yeah, I like the movie, and I understand exactly what Chris was saying, that there are a lot of people angry with this movie because it is not doing what they think a movie called Civil War and set in modern America ought to be doing.
Right.
I think it's a really good. I think it's very good at doing what it is actually doing, which is showing the addictive horrors of war and bits of humanity within it and stuff, and just how people can turn into fucking nightmares.
That's true.
And it's got fucking Stephen McKinley Henderson in it, and I will watch virtually anything with him. He is, if you and the audience might not be aware, on a 3-name basis. He was Thufir Hawat in the first Dune film.
Missed him in Dune 2.
Yeah, really was sad to see him go. He was in Lady Bird. He was on the TV show Devs, which we're eventually going to have to cover on this show.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we really need to be in a spot where we're both in amazing mental health.
Your
to
anti-recommendo of that show when you watched it the first time has kept me from watching it.
I think it's a very, very, very good show, but boy, I'm gonna need to be in like sterling mental health to sit back.
I've heard a lot of people again like say it sucks, and maybe it's because of that. I don't know. I don't have any way I can speak on it. I haven't seen anything, so
yeah.
Cool. I kind of want to see that Civil War. I mean, and I think I will eventually.
It's on streaming for rental now.
Okay.
And there are just, the movie is chock full of, bunch of really fun and good performances. And yeah, it's, I have more to say about it, but I don't want to be spoiling it for people who haven't seen it, since it's very fucking fresh.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I will spoil something that's even fresher. Furiosa is so good.
All right.
That's how I spent my morning. I went to Furiosa.
That's how you get revved up to cover Lawnmower Man on a podcast.
It reinvigorated my love for existing after watching Lawnmower Man last night.
Which does suck it out of you.
It does.
I want to see it. I think we're going to go see it. Depends on what we do tomorrow. Maybe Tuesday, if not, but we're going to see it soon.
Highly recommend see it. Go to the IMAX if possible.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely worth every bit of it. It is a movie that is not Fury Road.
Would it be enhanced by watching Fury Road again beforehand?
It certainly wouldn't hurt. I mean, because I watched Fury Road a couple of weeks ago.
I haven't seen
And
that since it was in theaters.
in that case, I strongly recommend watching it. It's not gonna, well, I don't know. Maybe you watch Furiosa and then go home and watch Fury Road.
Oh yeah, it's a prequel. Yeah.
It's real fucking good. I mean, and it's doing different shit than Fury Road is.
Good.
And I don't know. I'm definitely going to have to give it some more time to settle because I just walked out of the movie like an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck, I'm hyped for it in a very serious way, and it feels like one that might climb the rankings as I feel it more and watch it again.
Yeah. It's been a good year.
Yeah,
for sci-fi.
It really has.
There's a couple movies that I haven't seen that I want to too. So
yeah, I highly recommend everybody go to the theater to see it. Definitely worth the effort of getting the fuck out of your house.
That IMAX thing, like I was never a big IMAX guy. I was always like, oh, so it's bigger. Who cares? It's already big. Until I saw Dune 2 in IMAX with you, and then a week later saw it in a standard screen. I was like, wow, this really isn't as good.
It's a very different thing. Yeah,
I was kind of bummed. I mean, it was still good, but it was not as, like blah. Not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's the type of thing where I think for a lot of movies that get pushed out to IMAX, it's probably kind of not worth the effort.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to see a movie that's done by somebody with a serious fucking eye for framing, and like Denis Villeneuve or George Miller, or Christopher Nolan or something like that, it's probably worth the effort if they put out an IMAX version.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, are we good to move on, move up?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
This week we are covering. I didn't even look up who the director is. I haven't looked up anything about this movie.
Well, I have some fun knowledge about that. 1992, The Lawnmower Man, directed by Brett Leonard, a guy who's appeared on this podcast before.
Really? In what way?
He directed Virtuosity.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
I think we've already given our overall thoughts. Didn't love it.
One thing that's very important for the audience to know is that we both watched, kind of accidentally on my part, the director's cut.
Yeah, I just watched the one that was on Apple TV streaming because you couldn't pay for it on Amazon without subscribing to Stars.
Yeah.
And
so, there are two versions of the movie. The theatrical version is a full 40 minutes shorter.
Oh my God, why didn't I watch that?
The theatrical version is 1 hour 48 minutes, and the director's cut is like 220.
40 minutes less would have
30.
Would have taken this movie from like absolute loathing to it was a bad movie. It was fine. That's what 40 minutes would have done for me.
Yeah, it really it wouldn't have been a good movie either way, but
it wouldn't have made me hate it so much.
Yeah.
This might be my least favorite thing we've covered.
It's so fucking long.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on.
At the beginning, like get to the point. Like he spent so much time watching this guy mow lawns.
Yeah.
So the flaws, like the bad CG is the least of the flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and it's bad. It's
there's a bunch of real bad CG shit.
Yeah. Horrible, but I'd overlook that for a good movie. Obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some of the CG stuff is in the, it's 1992. This is totally fine. This is totally acceptable.
Yeah. pretty cool for 92. It's the first time some of this was probably seen on screen. Like, when he blows apart the agents and they turn into little spheres.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. I think maybe the first time you're seeing something like that on screen would be, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I don't think the bad CG is even docking at many points. Honestly.
No, it's really not. It's just a bad movie. Is the problem.
The acting's not good. The story isn't good. My version, I had the collector's edition, I believe is what it was sold as.
Sure.
And it had a warning up front. I wish I'd screenshotted it. That basically it's got bad cuts in the film, and they tried to improve them on the director's cut, but some of them are still bad. And I was like, wow, just warning us out of the gate that it's not made well. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like literally a crawl at the beginning, like Johnny Mnemonic. Like, this is an updated version, and some of the bad cuts were improved.
Editors living like rats in the walls of the world.
Yes.
Spent thousands of hours trying to make this watchable and failed.
And all that did was draw attention to it for me. Every time it happened, I was like, oh, that's one of those they were talking about.
There's some real fun judder cuts in it.
Yeah. What will I give it credit for? I thought the set inside
the cyber
like the gyroscopes.
Yeah. That
was cool.
That looked cool. Let's see.
What's his name? It has a Dawson's Creek alum in it.
Yes, Jeffrey Lewis.
Important. Jeffrey Lewis plays the best role in the movie.
And also, his daughter has appeared on our podcast before.
Oh, really? Who's his daughter?
Juliette Lewis.
You fucking serious? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm dumb.
I don't know. It's not like you look at them side by side and go, oh, yeah, definitely.
I didn't know that she was a Nepo baby, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those Nepo in terms of he was a working character actor.
Yeah.
As opposed to, say, Maya Hawke.
Right. It's like recently Chris Pine, like in an interview, was addressing allegations of him being a Nepo baby. And he was talking about my dad was like, he worked in the industry, but he wasn't exactly, breaking waves. But anyway, that's cool. He has had sex with Grams, though, so...
Yeah, good for him.
It's a limited list.
Yeah.
Working actors. Him and Clifford Smalls.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know. We're getting off track because... I will also give the movie credit for Pierce Brosnan's sexy gold hoop earring.
I'll give it credit for that chest hair patch.
Yeah, he spends a surprising amount of this movie with his shirt open.
Yeah, he sure does.
There are a lot of shirtless guys in this movie.
There sure are.
More so than you would expect from something that is not like a, fucking mid 80s to mid 90s pumping iron action movie.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be a big shock when fucking Job takes his shirt off and it turns out he's jacked underneath, but like also they had him in men's quadruple XL sweatshirts the whole damn movie up to that point, so knew they were hiding something.
Oh yeah, and they was hiding them buns.
How are we going to recap this?
If you want, we can probably just do kind of the Wikipedia summary, because part of the problem with this fucking movie, audience, is that it is not good, and that there's too much goddamn plot spread all over the place, and like I said, it's so fucking long, and there's so much shit that doesn't go goddamn anywhere.
Yeah.
So doing it scene by scene is just going to irritate everybody.
Yeah, that
involved.
would make this episode as unbearable as the movie.
So I think, honestly, the Wikipedia summary is probably a good way to go. It's like a, nice tight 3 paragraphs.
Are we going to recap the Wikipedia summary or just read it word for word?
I mean, I'll just kind of buzz through the summary, and we can nail down kind of the major plot points. Like, okay, so the movie starts. Pierce Brosnan is like a cool, fucking hip computer scientist, and he's drugging and doing virtual reality to fucking monkeys.
I will say the first scenes are maybe the best in the movie. Like the POV over the shoulder monkey shots.
They're deeply disturbing, but
they're far more interesting than anything that happens after.
Yeah. So
we were giggling maniacally watching that monkey figure out the best way to kill these people.
So Pierce Brosnan, working at this very fancy lab, which is funded by the fucking secret ops, whatever, has made a super intelligent monkey soldier. It turns out that the monkey soldier doesn't want to be a prisoner in a cage. So he breaks out, first he picks a padlock. Steals a security guard's gun, starts shooting people, and escapes from this lab.
It's a smart monkey.
Yeah.
I said, the whole time you're like POV of the monkey, camera mounted on his head, basically.
Yeah, it's really...
it's like a video game.
And it also...
It's, sorry, hold on. It's Duke Ook Ook Ookum.
Oh, that's good. Keep that.
I hate myself.
Keep that in and double it.
For the next season.
So this... Like, it really hammers home what we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks involving Nope and monkeys.
And Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because this ain't the first monkey.
No, this is just the best monkey.
This is one of many monkeys.
A lot of the others died.
Yes. So there is a pile somewhere in this facility.
Somewhere there is a dead monkey pile. So, and there's also a scene where...
Also, should we point out that we know chimpanzees aren't monkeys, but it's more funny to say monkey?
Oh, yeah, we should. I have gotten in trouble with that before. I take a holistic view of monkeys.
Yes.
Pretty much
do I, of course.
Pretty much any mammal from us all the way up through fucking lemurs. I mean, it's...
I feel like if my pet peeve words can change with the language, like decimate and things like that, monkey can change with the language and just come to mean all monkey-like creatures.
All monkeys, yeah.
All monkeys, yeah. And Ron Perlman is included.
Yeah. I mean, I am fully aware of what makes a monkey versus an ape and old world monkeys versus new world monkeys.
Right. Please don't add us.
Yeah, don't add us. I just prefer a holistic view of monkeydom.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I refer to humans as, bald monkeys all the time. So I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to reduce Roscoe. I am bringing a rising tide lifts all monkeys. How about that?
That's true. We all know that to be true.
Actually, that's not true. A lot of monkeys, and especially many apes, cannot swim.
Well, assuming they would still float and they would still be lifted by the tide, much like the entire pile.
Chimps sink like fucking stones.
Oh, because they're so dense?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
anyway.
Rising tide leaves them further below.
Anyway, so we got there is a shot, and it's not enough of a shot, but there is a shot of the monkey in a VR jumpsuit and helmet in the spinny gyroscope thing in the lab. And it only lasts, it's like a 3-second shot because I'm sure the chimp went insane and probably killed people.
Yeah. It was a nope situation for sure.
But it's my favorite thing in the movie.
My favorite thing is similar to that, but different. And I'll get to it when we get there.
Okay. So this chimp breaks out. apparently, and the chimp definitely takes this cool Cybertronic helmet.
Yeah.
So chimp escape. And there are some just truly haunting images of a fucking chimpanzee with a revolver.
Yeah. Yeah. For a moment, I thought, is this the prequel to Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, it easily could have been. But then we cut to Pierce Brosnan waking up in bed. He's had a dream about the chimp escaping. The most interesting part about this, and I'll go through the rest of the chimp escape scenario in a minute, but Pierce Brosnan wakes up at like 3 a.m.
Shirtless,
obviously, rolls over a little bit, lights a cigarette, puffs it twice, then rolls back over and tries to fuck his wife.
Girlfriend. Were they married? Maybe.
No, I think they're married. Yeah.
Okay.
Tries to fuck his wife, and she's like,
cigarette in hand.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? And then the phone starts ringing, and it turns out the nightmare was real.
Okay, this is another one of my favorite parts.
All right.
He's before the phone rings, he walks over to the window to smoke a cigarette and look pensively out the window, as all cigarette smokers have done a million times.
Yeah.
And he sees his neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
And sees his neighbor's son get straight up fucking cold cocked across the face.
Yeah.
With a closed fist punch. And, looks like that's a bummer. And then turns around and completely fucking ignores it and answers the phone.
And the neighbor's son, he's going to play a major part in the rest of the movie, is, number one, the only actor from this film to return for the sequel.
Oh,
his name is Austin O'Brien, and his primary / only claim to fame is that he is the kid Danny, I think, in Last Action Hero.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the whole time, but I didn't look it up.
Yeah, that was probably smart.
It's much better in Last Action Hero too.
Yeah. So the chimp makes it to town. His VR helmet helps him identify a church with church bells ringing as Sanctuary. It flashes up in Terminator vision on the screen.
Yeah, there's some definite Terminator vision.
Yeah. So then the monkey runs into our main character. Or, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a two-hander. Our second main character, a guy named Job, who is actually named Simple Jack.
It has to. In that movie, Tropic Thunder, he's like wearing the overalls and the oversized shirt. Like he has to have pulled this directly from this movie.
And absolutely atrocious haircut. It is insulting to not just everyone with intellectual disabilities, but everyone who's ever met anyone with intellectual disabilities.
Yeah, but also I don't even really blame Fahey for it. He's probably being directed to do this. Like,
no, I don't either. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, wow, I hate the world of 1992 and the people who made this movie. This was all ill-considered.
Yeah. By the way, this is his second appearance on our show. He's an Alita Battle Angel, according to IMDb.
Oh, yeah, he was the guy with the Robo-Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. So he befriends this monkey because the monkey has this helmet on, and the monkey is like a comic book character he knows, Cybo Man. Mm-hmm. Then we get into like some of the scenes that were apparently cut, thank God, where the priest is the evil priest. You look at him, you know, oh, this priest is going to be evil. Is peeping in the window and sees the monkey. And because him and Jeff Fahey are just hanging out. So he calls the military. And then the military shows up and shoots the monkey.
Pretty brutally shoots it out of a tree and then thumps all the way down. Just
ragdolls the motherfucker, riddles it with bullets.
Man, Jeff Fahey's in another movie we might have to cover.
Which one?
Johnny 2.0, although it looks like it's a TV movie. It's got Michael Ironside.
Ooh. Yeah, I have not seen that, but
I don't know why you would have.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty cyberpunk from the stuff I'm seeing.
So after the monkey dies, Pierce Brosnan quits his job. He starts doing this recurring theme throughout the film where he's doing audio journal entry and he's sitting there shirtless drinking Bushmills. And I'm at the lowest point of my career. The fucking monkey died. The military's bad. I don't know. I can't do this anymore.
This is as good a place as any to ask, is Pierce Brosnan's character good or bad?
Oh, no. He's, he makes gestures at being good.
I was going to say, maybe it's a two-part question.
Yeah.
Is he good or bad? And do they want us to think he's good or bad?
They want us to think he's good.
Okay, because they failed completely at that.
Yeah.
And not just in his job, but in his relationship with Job and his relationship with his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's kind of a piece of shit to everybody.
He really is. Yeah. Oh, one thing that I missed when the soldiers show up to shoot the monkey is that they roll up in the Spec Ops vehicle of the early 1990s. Of course, everyone would recognize it instantly. Lumina Dustbuster minivans. Because
I recognized it.
Those were the most futuristic looking cars in 1992.
The long fucking nose.
Yep.
The huge windshield that I'm sure broke a million times and then cost $8,000 to replace.
Broke a million times, and then the first couple of years of those had a fucking like an optional skylight right over the driver and passenger seat. So the greenhouse on those fucking vans turned them into literal furnaces. Like on a hot summer day, like the interiors would melt. They stopped doing that after the first year and like redid shit. I don't know.
I was like in my prime lot boy years. That sounds like a sex worker. It wasn't. I washed cars on various car lots, mainly for most summers during my youth. And those vans were everywhere in used car lots back then.
Yeah. They were not good vans.
No. They were ugly too.
If you want a good van, get a Caravan, get an Astro. I mean,
I will say seeing one in the movie immediately
places
me
in time.
Yeah. To 1992.
Yeah. Pierce is drunk. He's making these weirdly self-pitying / self-aggrandizing audio notes. And then he notices walking by his basement window, which is where his office is, Job. And he's like, hey, that guy's not much better than a monkey.
It's true.
What if I flowers for Algernon, this motherfucker?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like the movie's trying to sell it like, oh, he's helping Job. Obviously, nobody wants to be a moron like Job. So Pierce Brosnan is going to help him. And I'm just reading it like Pierce Brosnan is 100% taking advantage of this simple man.
Absolutely. After the first sort of scene where, so it turns out that Job is friends with the neighbor kid from Last Action Hero, because they both read comic books. Well, Job doesn't read. He can't read, but he looks at the pictures.
Yeah. You also left out that his caretaker, the priest, is super abusive to him.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, man, that guy's evil. And then, like, 5 minutes later, he's whipping Job with a fucking belt, and you're like, yeah, I saw this coming. Come on,
yeah, I bet he molests kids anyway. We'll see. Yeah. We'll find out later in the movie if he does or not.
Yeah.
Just thrown in there at the end.
Yeah. So Pierce first recruits Job by getting Peter, the neighbor kid, and Job to come in and play these cool VR games. And then, and this is a little later, but Pierce does his recruitment, which is he sits Job down and is kind of like, leaning over him, and he's explaining that, I'd love to get, I could possibly improve your I could possibly improve how intelligent you are. And it is a scene that is very, very much if you just saw this out of context, literally anyone would assume that this is an adult grooming a child for sexual abuse. It's talk about how this will have to be our secret. You certainly can never tell anyone. It's our special secret.
Yeah, special secret was very gross.
It is like truly fucking disturbing when you just look at the scene outside of the movie. I mean, it's disturbing in the movie, but it's seriously...
Maybe some small credit should be given to Jeff Fahey, because he is very childlike for most of the movie and the way he's portraying this mental handicap. And so, yeah, when he starts talking about special secrets and whatnot, it feels so predatory.
It really does. It is very
and later, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but when the lady gets the hots for him and decides she wants to fuck him, it feels fucking gross and weird because he's not being played as a grown man with mental handicaps. He's being played as a child.
Yeah, and it's not as a funny child, like say Big,
right?
Like in
yeah, exactly. No, because when Tom Hanks, it's not nearly as gross.
When Tom Hanks is sexually abused in Big,
yes, that sexual abuse is much funnier than this sexual abuse. Oh God, what have we done?
Yeah, this is a movie that we watched for, I don't know, nearly 5.5 hours.
You spent 5.5 hours, and I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry we started podcasting.
I regret every minute of it. Okay, so that comes up a little while later. I'm going to close out kind of Pierce's arc. So he also likes to hang out in VR, and his wife, he treats his wife like shit.
Terribly. Wait, was this just a thing of the times? But she wants to go into the city.
Yeah, she wants to go into the city. We all love
the city.
But he is busy floating, flying, falling. What's next? Fucking. And then you put suction cups on your nipples and it becomes Cyber Vengeance.
Cyber Vengeance was a better movie than this, and I will die on that hill.
It was such a shorter movie than this.
But he is flat out mean to her. He'd promised her this trip. She was ready to go on this trip, and then she comes down and he's like playing video games and being fucking depressed. And I felt like the movie was trying to get us on his side because you don't know what I have to go through over there. And who gives a shit? You made a promise, and either be cool about it or, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like made out to be the shrew.
Yeah, she really is. And then apparently in the theatrical cut, she disappears from the movie after this point. Like she does not reappear.
No loss to the film there.
Yeah. She might as well have been a hallucination.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also learn a bit more about Job's life. There's this extremely, quote marks, cool guy at the gas station named Jake, who is a weirdly large presence in the film, who's totally unnecessary.
Yeah. He does that. He's a bully to Job in the way that people in 90s TV shows and stuff were bullies, where they like pick something that nobody would ever like.
Yeah.
like someone whose parent has died, and then they're like, "Oh, you're the orphan kid," and they like, people aren't like that.
But this guy is so cool. He's got a sleeveless Harley Davidson t-shirt. He's got a bandana, and he's got little round glasses.
Yeah, he is. Cool.
And
he hangs out at the gas station.
Yeah, and Job works for my favorite character in the movie.
Yes,
bar none.
With a bullet.
Yeah, by a guy named Terry, who is the brother of the priest.
Some reason he's
Terry,
from Ireland.
Yeah, he is doing some accent work that is fucking chef's kiss. The priest does not have an Irish accent.
No, he doesn't.
So he's doing this Irish accent. He is a drunk. He's constantly like sipping from a flask, and he runs a landscaping service, and he's obviously an idiot. But he likes Job.
He likes Job.
Yeah, he likes Job, and they go and cut lawns and get lunch at a diner and stuff. So
I just like to believe he is the character from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, sure. I totally believe. Uncle Bill, I believe. Right?
Uncle Bill. Was that his name in the...
Dawson's Creek, I think. Right?
Why would they call him Uncle?
Because he was CJ's uncle.
Oh, shit. You're right. He was CJ's uncle.
Yeah.
God.
It's been too long. We should start that show again.
We should.
All right. You guys ready for us to fire it back up?
Do it concurrently with this show. I got
yeah.
time.
Fuck yeah. It's definitely easy. Okay. And also around this point, we enter the main question mark. I don't know. This movie is so stupid. It's impossible to sort out who's what. But kind of the main villain, who is the chairman of the evil Department of Defense, whatever nonsense.
Also, the brother-in-law of Walter White.
Yes, with some drastically thinning hair, and he is also doing some accent work, which does not get a chef's kiss.
No, not at all. His acting is awful. I
do not know what he is doing in this, which is saying something when conservatively 95% of his screen time is literally on a screen in the movie. Like, he doesn't even have to do body acting.
He is 20. This is 20 years before Breaking Bad, and he looks the same age, only with like slightly more hair.
Yeah. Yeah. And a bizarre mid-Atlantic accent.
I hated it.
It is truly a baffling choice.
Like, if you watched this movie and hadn't seen anything else in the world, you'd be like, well, that guy's never going to act again. He's awful. And then it turns out he's a beloved character on one of the best TV shows of all time. Yeah,
it's truly baffling, like everything about this, because he is playing this character like, okay, number one, he's bad at the accent that he's doing. But also, the accent that he's doing doesn't make sense in terms of a 1990s movie. Like, if you were to somehow make this movie in like 1938, the accent would make sense just because you're so used to actors and like, oh, it's an upper class person. So they have this like fakey, the boarding school. It's not British, but it's not American, classy accent.
The accent would make sense, but the virtual reality in 1938 probably would not make much sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's be fair here. The Irish accent doesn't make any fucking sense either.
But Jeffrey Lewis is selling it. Come on, Job. Let's get us a burger.
He's an Irish because he's drunk, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Plus, he's nice, so it's... He's nice. He's like the only guy besides the kid that's nice to Job.
So then Pierce starts injecting Job with stuff, not his penis, surprisingly, given the speech that happened earlier, and doing this VR learning thing. And
we can kind of montage this middle bit, right?
It's basically exactly like The Matrix. Okay. Except for they're all weird Kabbalistic, like demon summoning symbols that make him learn.
Right. This is very similar to The Matrix.
It's exactly The Matrix.
And it came first. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not a good look for The Matrix.
No, it's not.
It's not the first time though that this machine learning flashing images in front of your eyes has been done, right?
Probably not.
Did it break new ground?
I doubt it. This movie does not seem like it.
It might have.
I strongly doubt it. Maybe in using VR goggles, like specifically, but
yeah, I'm trying to think.
Oh, Clockwork Orange.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's a different kind of learning.
Sure, but it's similar.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it to Clockwork Orange. I don't want to give.
No, I'm not giving this movie credit.
It is going to have to go up on the influence score, though.
Yeah, clearly.
The only one it's scoring anything on, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's bad. Oh, yeah, and at this point, we intro a sexy neighbor. She's just a sexy lady. And keep her in your back pocket for, like, later.
She actually might be my actual favorite character in the movie.
I mean...
Besides Jeffrey, what's his last name?
Lewis.
Yeah.
She has a tragic arc. I mean,
she has a tragic arc. The way they describe her, she's like a young widow who's just like getting out there and seeing what the town has to offer as far as dick is concerned.
Yeah, she likes to fuck.
And she's having a good time.
Yeah.
And I don't like that she takes advantage.
No, that's upsetting. Yeah. So then we cut to some amount of time in the future, and Pierce, there's this little kind of montage thing about how Pierce is saying, like, oh, his brain function has increased 400% in less than a month. And he went from not being able to read to, like, being able to read geometry textbooks.
Sure.
And then one of my favorite parts of the movie, he's in his shack, because Job lives in a shack.
Right.
With, by the way, a crucifix made out of lawnmower parts.
Yeah, very Sling Blade.
And he's shirtless doing sexy
did this influence
poses.
Sling Blade too?
Yes. He's shirtless doing sexy poses in the mirror and looking at a magazine that has like a sexy cowboy man in it. And he's looking in the mirror and he says, "You got a horse?"
I think I got up to pee during this part because I don't remember it, and I absolutely wouldn't have paused it to go pee.
It's absolutely, it's wild. And then the priest shows up and he stands up to the priest. The priest is like, "What are you doing, being perverted? Shut in your own place."
I do remember that. You shouldn't be in your own house, in your own room.
Yeah,
wearing no shirt.
Yeah. So then Pierce's boss, who's not Dean Norris, he's just a bald guy.
Yeah, it's funny. We haven't even mentioned Tim's, and we don't really need to because he's pointless.
Yeah. He finds out about Job and is impressed, but he's a little disappointed that Project 5, which is apparently the violent monkey stuff, didn't get used on him.
Yeah.
And we get the sexy lady notices Job's buns. I keep saying buns because it's no longer a podcast. Fuck, what was it called? It was hosted by April Richardson, a stand-up comedian, and Millie DeChirico, who is a movie critic. She was a programmer.
This isn't helping anything.
Yeah. She currently has a podcast called I See What You Did There. But they went on a tangent on their old podcast about remember how ladies were so hot for guys' buns in the early to mid 90s? Like TV commercials would be a guy with a construction worker drinking Pepsi with hot buns.
Remember David Lee Roth was big on showing off the buns. And I think my mom was into David Lee Roth's buns. I seem to recall from my childhood.
Wow.
She was big into David Lee Roth. It's crazy.
That is fucking wild, given literally everything I know about your mother.
My mom has a secret sordid past. I'll let you in on sometime, or maybe I already have. I don't know, but I think a little bit of that carried over to her very conservative middle age.
I think maybe you have mentioned things before, but I don't know. Just your mom
and David Lee Roth do not seem to go together.
No, not literally. And it
was the 80s, man. Things are crazy.
Yeah, I guess, I occasionally encountered your mom since the mid 90s, and her and David Lee Roth would never cross my mind.
It was weird for me at the time too. I think I was watching the Jump video or something, and she just made a comment.
I fucking bet.
And it burrowed into my brain, and she probably doesn't even remember that it ever happened, but that's why I never have children, because I know things burrow into their brains.
Yeah. That's probably smart. So, oh yeah, he also tries to stand up to Jake, the cool guy at the gas station, and gets like punched.
Okay. Before we get back into it, I wanted to point out that I just was looking at IMDb, and the woman who plays Marnie, is that her name? Marnie, the sexy lady,
yeah.
also played she was in a pivotal film of my life. She played the American groupie in Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yes, I remember seeing that when I went through it the other night. Yeah, I had forgotten about that.
That was an important movie to me growing up. I watched it more time. It might still be the lead for the movie I've watched the most times.
I don't think it is for me, but it's way up there. It's in the top 10, I'm sure.
Yeah. It'd be definitely in my top 5, maybe still the number 1 spot. I watched it so many times.
Yeah.
And
weirdly, you did not get high.
No, never. I've never seen it high.
Yeah. Very bizarre.
Yeah. Huh. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
Maybe then I would enjoy getting high. Anyway, interesting fact. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. I had forgotten that. I read that the first time I watched it, and of course I was drunk. So, because I thought this was a vaguely acceptable film that time.
Also in Young Guns 2, which I believe is one of Sean's favorite movies. Yeah. I associate that with him. So
yeah.
Shout out to Sean.
Yeah, shout out to Sean. So Pierce decides to fucking escalate. He has gone from making monkey murderers to making intellectually disabled murderers. And takes him to VSI and the cool lab with the fucking gyroscopy things, and sticks him in a cyber suit. And Job's like tripping balls and, I don't know, learning super fast or something.
Yeah. It's all could have been a montage in the movie.
It's basically like a lot of fractals and demon symbols.
Yeah.
And then we see from the outside that Job is transformed. He's now dressing like a sexy ranch guy with seriously blow-dried hair.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point at which he is sexually abused by American groupie from Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yes. Maybe that's why I like the character, because she there was a connection that my brain made that
could be. She does have a pretty distinctive face.
Yeah.
Like when you look at her IMDb photo, you're like, oh yeah, she was in The Wall.
She was in Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
And Matlock, apparently.
Okay, cool. I believe it.
Another Dawson's Creek connection.
Yeah, also true. So at this point, after we do some more montaging, there is no possible way to know how long this movie takes place over. It could be 5 years. It could be 3 months.
It's true.
No one knows. Not important.
It felt like 5 years that it took place for me to watch it.
Yeah. So Joe's been doing super fast learning. Pierce gets a little nervous and, feels like he's got to pump the brakes. And I bring this up mainly because Pierce is like, I'm only doing this for you, for your own good. And I feel this might be unsafe, the way your brain activity is. And Job has a minor seizure. And Job's like, but I feel better than I ever have in my life. And this is literally the next scene after he gets his nut with the sexy neighbor lady.
Yeah. God, that was weird. She's telling him how to French kiss. Oh.
Yeah, and it looks super gross.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know if we fully imparted how gross that was.
Yeah, and... but yeah, he feels better than he has in his life because he got his dick wet. I mean...
These things are going well for him right now.
Yeah.
It's like when you're drinking and you're at that stage where man, I feel good. Drinking is awesome. I'm going to drink 3 times as much as I've drinking up to this point because it can only get better.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it doesn't get better.
Yeah. So Job's doing this super fast learning. He turns into a tech founder, saying that books are obsolete. And it's very much tech company fucking CEO Elon Musk, Sam Altman bullshit, where he's listening to 14 seconds of a song and like, why would you listen to the whole thing?
There's too many songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like multiple genre, which was very weird at the time.
Yeah.
It's like rap and the classical.
So then we see, he gets some headaches and he starts reading minds. Don't worry about it. That's definitely not going to come up later.
Hey, real quick, I'm scrolling through Pierce Brosnan's filmography.
Hmm?
I don't like a single movie he's ever been in, I don't think.
He was really good in, I think it was called The Matador? ?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was okay.
With Greg Kinnear? Is that right?
I don't know if I would call it good, but it's the closest he's gotten, apparently. Sorry.
He has been in some pretty decent stuff, but he has been in so much shit that it's going to be real hard to, separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in The World's End, which I liked. That was the Simon Pegg, bunch of guys go back to their hometown.
Oh, I never saw that. I was wondering.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Flawed, but pretty good.
All right. I'll give him that one.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor of Panama. He was pretty good in The Taylor of Panama, which is...
Oh, he's in Mars Attacks. Okay, that one gets a solid
right.
strike for
Yes. He is the government scientist that ends up a head in the jar trying to make out with Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker, yeah. This fucking podcast always comes back to Sex and the City.
Jesus Christ.
Not intentionally either.
No, it really isn't. Yeah, okay. Then the the bald CEO guy switches out the drugs because
he was ordered to by
Dean Norris says, make this a killing intellectually disabled person.
Yeah.
And then we have Job takes the sexy lady to the lab and breaks in, and they have cyber sex, and it goes poorly.
Yeah, it goes poorly.
She ends up catatonic. It's pretty. It's a bad time.
She's giggling the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's very, very bizarre. And then we also find out that he can now move shit with his mind.
Sure.
Like he steers his lawnmower around while standing on a porch with his mind. And demos it to Pierce Brosnan by lifting a chair. And also, of course, the bald guy sees it and is like, holy shit.
At this point, I checked the timeline and saw there's an hour of movie left.
I know.
I cried to myself.
Yeah, it really is. So then Pierce has to go to Washington to, I don't know, tell people about this. It's so fucking boring.
There's this whole drama going on between he and Tibbs or whatever, Timms,
yeah.
And he's forced to go make a
He's
report.
like, I don't want to make weapons.
Timms is like, but we got to do what the government says, and then he's got to go talk to Uncle Hank, and then he has to escape a bunch of
and now everybody knows about the telekinesis and everything. He's got to escape this hotel, which is maybe my favorite single little bit of a scene in this movie. Is him escaping from the hotel.
Felt like an interesting thing that could happen in a movie. Also, pretty cool that the hotel just lets you rent a car right there behind the desk.
Yeah, I know. I thought
that's pretty rare
neat
these days.
Yeah. Concurrent with this, anyway, he breaks out of the hotel because the government needs to capture him, and he finds out the government is also trying to capture Job.
Yeah.
Breaks out of the hotel. At the same time, the Job is breaking into the lab to the tune of some terrible Joe Satriani sounding shit. Like,
I remember.
Serious like early 90s Guitar Hero nonsense, one of those things. If you know it, you know it. And he finds out that the government is coming after him. And then He doses up with like way too much of the fucking monkey murder juice.
Yeah, like
And-
5 shots full.
Yeah, and does too much VR, apparently. I don't know. And then we have his vengeance rampage.
Yep. He goes and kills all the people that have been pointed out clearly to be bad.
Yeah, he sets the priest on fire with his mind.
And this is the point where the priest confesses to all his sins, including molestations.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, I mean, you already showed us you were pretty bad. You didn't have to add that in, but okay, I guess you've been touching kids off screen.
Yeah, he makes Jake the cool guy, like, I don't know, catatonic.
Turns him into what Job was at the
yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, with some very, very good CG of Job's CG face with a lawnmower blade on the front of it, eating the guy's brain. It's
of all the bad CG, that might be the worst. Maybe. The fire was pretty bad too.
The fire was very bad. I do not know why they did the CG fire for that, because it probably would have cost a lot less and been way easier just have a stuntman in a fucking fire rig. I mean,
or if you don't want to pay a stuntman, just set a mannequin up there, because that fake fire looked so bad. But maybe they wanted it to look like digital fire. Who knows? I also like to point out that I did enjoy the practical effects of the gas pumps.
Yeah.
Entangling Jake.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
And then Job goes and lawn mows Peter's dad.
Yeah. Who we didn't spend much time on, but he's kind of been low-key abusing Peter the whole movie.
High key.
All abuse is pretty high key.
It's very obvious. This is not a film where it trades in the implication of abuse by a kid said, somebody says something and the dad like gives him a serious look.
You witness this kid get his fucking jaw rocked multiple times.
Whipped. Yeah.
And it looks real, and I think it probably was.
Yeah. It's no good. So
also, nobody does anything. They watch it happen, they sigh, and they go get back to their business.
Yeah.
It's just not my place to get involved with this child beating.
Yeah, so he lawn mows Peter's dad, and throughout this whole scene, they introduce a really cool effect because he's still wearing the VR suit from the lab, and
you mean from Tron?
Yeah, the suit lights up when he's using his psychic powers, and he looks kind of like a Tron thing.
He looks exactly like a Tron thing.
Yeah, So Pierce gets back into town. And finds out about the massacre and the weirdness from a cop who I can't remember the actor's name.
I think
it's Troy something.
Seen him a million times.
Yeah, he's been in a million things, including Bosch
Troy Evans.
Yeah,
kind of a comedic scene, actually, pretty funny scene.
It really is, because he's like, this town's gone fucking crazy. That widow was wandering around with her tits hanging out. And this guy got fucking lawn mowed, like his face is in the bird bath, but the wife and the son didn't hear anything.
And his deputy is like, yeah, it truly was an awful night of clearly planned and well executed murders. And then Job manipulates both their minds, and the guy's like, as I was saying, clearly a night of strange accidents.
Clearly a night of unavoidable accidents.
It was actually a good scene. Okay, that was fun.
It was pretty funny. So Pierce goes to his house. He finds his wife mind controlled, doing like a 50s housewife thing. Bear
in mind, I guess, if you watch the theatrical cut, maybe a lot of this stuff you wouldn't even have seen.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been in the theatrical cut because she disappeared an hour ago.
But she's finally getting her comeuppance, that bitch wanting to go into the city and hang out with her friends. What a stupid woman.
Yeah. So Job captures Pierce using his fucking psychic powers and sticks him in VR and tells him like, I'm going to take over the world, basically. Because everybody's bad and sucks, and everybody's going to know that I take over the world because all the phones are going to ring at once. He's going to completely enter the computer. It'll be great and cool. At this point, we have 40 minutes of movie left. Then we do a really cool scene where government agents are coming to the door. Job mind controls Pierce's wife to get a gun and go to the door and start shooting the fucking cops, which she does. And then Job's giant glowing hologram face appears and makes them burst all into spheres.
Yeah, that's the effect I mentioned early on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like I said at the time, if you saw that, the effect would probably be kind of cool. It's one of the least annoying ones of the movie, anyway.
I think the idea is that he's like atomizing them or something.
Yeah.
So,
God, we still have to go.
Yeah. And Dean Norris is watching the whole thing on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know why that matters. It doesn't. Job and Terry, his drunk Irish boss,
his only friend,
who he mind controls, go to visit, go to the lab so he can fully upload himself.
I honestly don't know how much he mind controls him or how much he just telepathically says, I need a ride, because Terry seems pretty on board for everything that goes from this point forward.
Yeah, I don't know. I really felt some mind control vibes from it, but
Okay.
Your mileage may vary. Then Peter shows up and frees Pierce, and then they and Peter's mom are gonna go to the lab, so that way, because Pierce steals a bunch of C4 from the government van.
Yeah, it's also important to note that before this, Pierce hacks ISI or whatever the company's name is, computer, to make sure that Job can't get out once he's uploaded onto there.
Yeah.
It separates their net from the big net. This is a time when not a lot of people knew what nets were.
Yeah.
And you could just kind of say the word and imaginations would fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Job and Terry get to the lab. They kill a bunch of soldiers. Terry gets shot, which I think this is one of the flaws with the movie. And I mean, there aren't many. The way that Job reacts to Terry getting shot by the security guard after Job has just fucking atomized, 50 dudes.
Yeah.
It would have provided it would have provided dramatic justification. Had they placed this somehow pre-massacre, before he went and killed all the priests,
provided
and shit,
justification for the massacre.
Because he actually reacts my God, Terry didn't do anything except give me a ride up here, and these people just shot him.
Right.
So it
it's his fault for putting Terry in harm's way.
Yeah, you could have rearranged these plot points and kind of justified some shit, but
You could have done a lot of things to this movie and made it less shitty.
Yeah, that's part of my problem watching a lot of these movies. At this point, the bald boss is in the office stealing all of Pierce's files, and it flashed me back really strongly because all of Pierce's files are CD-ROMs, but they're in those little carriages that you inserted the whole carriage into the computer.
That's how I thought CD-ROMs are going to work for the longest time. But no, we started taking them out.
And I hadn't thought of that mechanism for 25 years. I mean, it's just, that was something that existed from 1990 to 1994 and then was gone.
Yeah.
Then Job goes on another minor rampage. All the security guards die, whatever. Tim's gets turned into balls.
But not killed this time, just left to eternally be balls.
He's just wandering around balls.
He deserves it.
And then Job heads in the lab. Pierce and them show up, and he makes Peter and his mom, I don't think his mom ever gets a name, stay in the car.
I've got the screen up, I can tell you.
Yeah, and then he runs around planting some bombs trying to find Job. And
I believe it's Carla.
okay, sure. Pretty sure I've never heard that name in reference to this movie in my life. I believe it.
Yeah.
She's a woman. Why does she need her name?
This very does not pass the Bechdel test.
So he eventually he gets to the lab. And oh yeah, we also have some cuts of into cyberspace. And this was the thing that I thought was, I don't know, I guess sort of the most interesting thing about the movie. These scenes where Job is trying to get out of the VSI computer and he's inside a giant fucking, I don't know what geometric shape it is, but all of the sides of this vaguely spherical shape are hexagons. And in those hexagons, there are dodecahedrons, or D20s, if you will. And they like extend toward him and he like spins the dodecahedron and like can't get out and so on and so forth. And it just happens over and over again.
I thought a dodecahedron was a D12.
You might be right. I don't remember. Anyway.
And also, apes are not monkeys, Josh. You're so stupid.
Motherfucker.
You're so dumb.
God damn it. Well, look up what a D20 is. But I think the interesting thing about this scene is just how much this mirrors
Icosahedron.
Yes, isocahedron.
ICOSA.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Osakahedron. It's also got tentacles on her head.
Oh, fun. So just the way that movies in the like 90s depicted cyberspace and why like I don't know, code things are always just these geometric shapes.
I know, that's why it was going to be an early Shadowrun too.
Yeah.
A lot of geometric shapes.
Yeah, it's just really I would love to dig into why everybody portrayed it that way and like try and find a source.
It's not portrayed that way in Neuromancer or anything that like kind of coined the Matrix. It is strange.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because that's what computers were capable of displaying at the time.
Yeah.
That's what they went with.
There's this real specific symbology that is involved when you go onto the Matrix in the, up until like, I don't know, 98 or something.
Yeah. Johnny Mnemonic did it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And a bunch of other shit that I've seen. So he's trying to get out. He can't. Pierce gets into the lab. Turns out that Job apparently once your mind leaves your body, you turn into beef jerky.
Okay, this is.
Yeah, I figured you were. Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? You might be able to guess.
I don't know.
Remember
honestly.
the Mr. Show sketch?
Yes. Yeah. Wicked Scepter.
Wicked Scepter goes to visit their biggest fan as like a Make-A-Wish situation.
Yeah.
He's in the hospital. And they pull his sheet down on his hospital bed, and he's like this weird, horrific, gross beef jerky puppet. And it's really disturbing to look at, even though it's clearly a puppet.
Yeah.
Just watch it. Just go Google Mr. Show Wicked Scepter. Hospital.
You'll have a time.
It's a good sketch.
Yeah, it really is.
We were talking about sketch comedy on our last episode and didn't even mention Mr. Show.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I believe it. I think I might have mentioned it, but in like an aside where I was listing a couple of other things. But if I didn't, I apologize.
It was very
Mr. Show deserves it.
Yeah, it's our formative years.
An amazing show.
Anyway, that's what Job became when he went into the internet.
Yeah, apparently
it sucks all your juice out.
Apparently, if you don't have a mind, those VR suits are actually just food dehydrators.
Yum.
Yeah. So then Pierce plants some more bombs and he jumps into the suit too. I guess the idea is he wants to distract Job.
I think.
I mean,
seems like the bombs are gonna.
Yeah, it seems like the bombs will do the job. But so
also at this point, Carla decides to take a quick nap
Yeah, just hanging out in this car. Everybody's been killed, but she's going to hang out in the car and take a nap while her son sits in the passenger seat beside her.
Yeah, nothing will happen.
Yeah. So Peter breaks in and he's wandering around this fucking lab. Um, so Pierce is trapped in the internet with Job. I don't know. This goes back to the classic bit of, yeah, sure, we know it's just goggles. But once you put them on, you can't escape if somebody wants to keep you there.
Yeah.
So Pierce is trapped and crucified with Job while he's doing, like, trying to break free shit. Job finds out about bombs from reading Pierce's mind. And then they find out that Peter is in the building. Job has a momentary crisis of conscience and doesn't want Peter to die, so he frees Pierce to go save him. They run out of the building just as it's blowing up and just as we see Job maybe escape into the internet. He's like, ooh, a back door.
There are a couple of moments in the movie that I like, at least the acting from Fahey. One I forgot to mention earlier, like one of the first times he was put in VR and he comes out after like almost having a seizure or whatever. And he's like crying and Pierce is holding him and he goes, I saw God. I'm like, that was kind of intense the way he delivered that. Yeah. And then this, I like where it's access denied. And it says that literally 10,000 times. And it says access granted. That was kind of a neat way to end it. I mean, I guess I'm just trying to give some credit.
Yeah. So then the building blows up, and it's clearly a fucking model.
Clearly. Like made of paper.
And then we go back to another fucking audio journal, and Pierce says, I have to take my work underground. So he's going on the run with Peter and Peter's mom, because he just, like, this guy got lawn mowed, and he's like, well, I guess I fuck your wife and take your son now.
Yeah, there's no, like, he immediately just starts hugging her all the time.
Yeah.
Even after the murder. Yeah, it was weird.
So they're about to hit the road, taking his work underground, because he believes that VR can be used for good and not just mind control, turning mentally disabled people into murderers.
And monkeys.
I don't know. And monkeys. Can't forget the monkey murder. And then they're about to hit the road, and then all of the phones in the world ring at once. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, no. Lawnmower Man 2 coming at you. Summer 1998. Or whenever it came out. Probably 93.
I'm fine with summer 1998. Do you know how long it's going to be before we see another summer 1998?
Probably never.
Yeah, exactly. We will never have to cover this movie. Honestly, I cannot believe that Lawnmower Man 2 would be worse than the director's cut of Lawnmower Man 1.
I have a hard time imagining how it could be.
Like, if I had seen, I feel like if I had seen the not director's cut, this movie could have easily gained a star or a star and a half to make it either a 1 or a 1.5 star film.
Right. Wait, do you know who the Lawnmower Man 2 stars?
Yes, Matt Frewer.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be better, right?
I've never seen it because I remember not liking this movie when it came out on fucking VHS. Oh, wow. 6 years later, a 16-year-old Peter Parkett is a computer hacker living in the subways of a cyberpunk Los Angeles.
Oh, we got to cover this fucking movie.
Teens? Okay.
We're going to watch Lawnmower Man 2.
Okay, this is sounding way more exciting.
Way better, way more cyberpunk. It's got Matt Frewer. Like, I am actually kind of excited for that one.
Motherfucker, yeah.
Same director? Surely not.
No. It's,
everything's different. It's got to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still going to be trash, but...
Yeah, okay. Molly Shannon is in it as homeless lady.
Oh. Good for her getting some work.
Apparently, Pierce Brosnan did not return because he was busy shooting a little film called GoldenEye.
I've never heard of it. Is it related to the video game?
Yes.
Oh,
It's the movie adaptation of the video game, kind of like your.
Oh, they made a
World of
movie about that
Warcraft.
video game?
Kind of like your World of Warcraft movie.
Oh.
Oh, and also Lawnmower Man 2, very excitingly, is only 92 minutes long.
Oh, blessed, glorious Christ. It sounds like, after that, it sounds like the greatest movie of all time.
Like, I feel like an asshole saying this, having just gotten out of the 2 hour and 28 minute Furiosa. Movies are so long now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Furiosa justifies it.
Yeah. And so does some of, like, Dune justified it. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been a little shorter, but it still pretty much justified it.
I think actually another fucking Roger Ebert quote, no good movie is ever too long and no bad movie is ever too short.
Exactly.
But like average movies, like movies in the middle, shouldn't top 100 minutes.
Yeah. If you're not dealing with one of the best movies of your career, just cap it.
Yeah.
Okay. Lawnmower Man 2, there's going to be an episode on that. There has to. I'm looking at the screenshots. We have to cover this film.
It seems better.
Hey,
something that I didn't mention earlier, but is important to the backstory of this film. This film was originally titled Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
And you might wonder, did Stephen King write a story in the 1980s about virtual reality? And the answer is no, he didn't. The Lawnmower Man story is in one of his short story collections. I don't know, I read it fucking 30 years ago. It's about a guy who hires a dude to mow his lawn, but it turns out that the guy who mows the lawn is like a satyr who worships nature.
Okay.
Or just worships like Pan, the goat god.
My favorite. God.
Yeah. And kills the guy who hires him in like a sacrifice thing.
So pretty similar.
Yeah, very similar. So then New Line Cinema, which is the company that made this, took a script by Brett Leonard named Cyber God and said, hey, if we put the word Stephen King and then the title of a Stephen King short story in it, we can probably earn more money at the theater.
They're probably right.
They probably were correct. Stephen
sued?
King sued the shit out of them.
Good.
Twice. Once to get his name taken off of it after the trailer and posters came out.
Interrupt real quick. That's hilarious because before we watched this, we watched the trailer that went with it, and it says that it starts from the imagination. Long pause. Comes a movie up. Like all movies come from the imagination. They just took of Stephen King out.
Nice. So they took it off for the actual release, and then he had to sue them again because when they put it out on video, it said Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man.
I remember it. I assumed it was a Stephen King short story my whole life up until this point.
The similarity ends where the landscaping ends.
Okay. So, like the whole first half of the movie, to be fair, there's a lot of landscaping in this movie.
There really is, although there's no Pan worship.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's rate this thing and then never speak of it again.
Yeah, sounds good.
Story.
0.
I'll give it a 1.
I've read Flowers for Algernon. I've heard so many I've seen so many adaptations of that. Don't need a fucking another one. Knock it off.
I agree. I'm giving it a 1 just because it has a story, so I figure I should count for 1.
Oh. Okay, 0.5, just for fairness sake.
Okay. Influence, we cannot
1.
deny. No,
we did.
It influenced Tropic Thunder. It influenced The Matrix.
Tropic Thunder and The Matrix. Okay, that's worth 1.5.
I'm going to give it 3.
It has influenced me to never watch a Brett Leonard movie again.
Fair. Prescience. In A. It's not in the future.
No. Actually, wait.
Virtual reality did not come to be as important as they thought it would. So
there's actually, and I actually typed it up because I couldn't find it written anywhere because this movie fucking sucks balls. And nobody gave a shit about it.
Yeah.
The opening crawl is By the turn of the millennium, a technology known as, all caps, virtual reality will be in widespread use. It will allow you to enter computer-generated artificial worlds as unlimited as the imagination itself. Its creators foresee millions of positive uses, while others fear it as a new form of mind control. Ellipsis.
I remember that. There's definitely some people that think that is true. I believe the consumer public has yet to agree.
I will certainly agree that by the turn of the millennium, virtual reality was not in widespread use.
Yeah. So negative.
Negative. Yeah. Negative. Didn't go in.
Negative
Impact on the surface.
5, -5.
Yeah.
Style, 0.
Whoa. Yeah. That's a hateful concept for this. I don't know. Do we give it style for the monkey Terminator vision? No, we don't.
We don't.
0.
It could have done it better.
Yeah.
Enjoyability on a scale of 0.
Less than 0.
0 hand raisers. It's just a stump of a wrist.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have a hand.
You can't even get fucking spurs on that motherfucker.
We've mentioned recently that we've been throwing bullets with the movies we've been covering,
Yeah.
and the streak has come to an end.
It came to a catastrophic end.
We did it to ourselves. We did it spur of the moment last week.
I so regret it.
I do too. I regret last week's episode as a result of this week's episode.
Like if this were a baseball game, we would be the victims of a fucking no-hitter where the other team only hit home runs.
Yes.
Like the first inning never ended because the other team just kept hitting home runs and never getting strikes.
That's how I feel. It was, maybe somebody out there likes Lawnmower Man, and if you're one of those, if you're that person, what is wrong with you?
I cannot imagine anyone liking the director's cut of Lawnmower Man. I mean, like, I truly think there is an extra, like, there is an hour easily that could have been cut out of the shit that I watched.
And affected nothing negatively, only been positive.
Yeah.
All right.
Bad.
It's in the past. We made it through.
We're done.
We got through. There will be Lawnmower Man 2, but
that'll almost certainly be better.
Certainly. There's no way it could be worse.
It'll be 40 minutes. It'll be 45 minutes shorter. So that'll help a lot.
Yeah. And we'll get to watch Matt Frewer, who we love. Okay. What are we doing next week? Next episode.
Yeah.
Josh is about to leave the state to go do his
civilization, whatever.
And he does believe that in 2 weeks he's going to have a chance to record an episode as long as it's not too in-depth. So we decided, we mentioned this last week as well, to actually dive in and just do a review of White Zombie's Astro Creep 2000.
Yes. 1996, I want to say.
I think so. I think that's what we determined. Perhaps not entirely a work of cyberpunk, but I think
1995, so it's the magic year. It gets in no matter what.
It gets in there. All right, yeah, we're doing everything from 95. But I feel like it brought the phrase "more human than human" back into popular culture, which is directly from Blade Runner. There's several Blade Runner references, at least in the "More Human Than Human" song. I haven't looked at all the lyrics. But we will, and we'll find that if it's in there.
I am the Nexus One. I want more life, fucker. I ain't done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's as cyberpunk as it fucking gets.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Thought it'd be a fun one, and Josh can not have to dedicate much time to it while he's out in the field. And it gets some content into our middle of our dry spell.
Yeah, it really does. And, I mean, honestly, also, this is this movie, or this album, and specifically the song More Human Than Human, contributes to the cyberpunk genre in that song was used in, I don't know,
many cyberpunk movies.
300 to 400 movie trailers between the release of this album and the year 2000.
I think it'll be a fun one to cover the way that we cover things.
Yeah. Yeah, I really specifically remember More Human Than Human was used in the trailer for a film we have discussed before, directly related to our show, and starring Kurt Russell, Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, if you're not on the Patreon, we record a commentary track for Big Trouble in Little China. It was tons of fun. If you're interested, get on it.
Yeah, for $5, you can listen to that and a bunch of other movies we watched before that.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're charging. I feel like a fraud doing it.
Me too. Hopefully,
hosting costs money, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does. Hosting and fucking those popcorn buckets.
Yeah. And to everybody who does subscribe, thank you. You can do so at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. All right, we're going to get out of this. It's pretty close to a tight 90. It's like a tight hundo. So, Twitter, Johnny 60 Seconds, Blue Sky, where we prefer to talk to people.
Yes.
High Tech Low Life. And we love you, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, that sounds right. And by the way, my birth cry will be the sound of every phone on this planet ringing in unison. Bye! We're sorry we watched this.
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Twitter at Johnny60seconds, email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com, and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's go.
They're trashing our rights, man! They're trashing the fluid data! They're trashing! Hide the planet! Hide the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.